School budgets go up for a vote next Tuesday. Jeff Cole continues our broadcast tonight from our St. Lawrence County Bureau and has the story of a tax rate increase proposed in the Canton Central school budget.
Garrett, thanks. At Canton Central, that tax increase is 6.5%, the highest increase of any school district in St. Lawrence County. And tonight, we learn the reasons behind the proposed hike. Canton Central's proposed budget is $41.8 million, calling for a 6.5% tax rate increase for district residents. Interim School Superintendent Susan Todd crunched the numbers to create the spending plan.
In my 13 years of experience of putting a budget together for a school district, this was really probably the most challenging.
One of the challenges, declining enrollment. Canton used to have 1,300 students. Since 2020, 200 fewer students are here, a 15% drop.
So we have graduating classes of about 90 students, but our incoming primary grades, like at kindergarten, are around 60 students.
Another challenge, federal COVID money has dried up. Over the past 3 years, that amounted to $4 million. Todd says the district did spend it wisely.
In the process of using that money in certain areas, we were able to build some fund balance, so that fund balance is coming in handy in balancing this budget.
To balance the budget, the district is using $6 million from its savings and cutting positions, 3 teaching jobs and 2 teacher aide positions, most through attrition. One person has been laid off.
We cut 2 positions at the teacher aide. One was through a teacher leaving, and the 3 teaching positions have all been through attrition.
Todd hopes district residents understand how difficult of a budget this was to put together, while she understands some residents are concerned over any tax increase.
Really hope that they understand that we are working really hard to make sure that we are being fair to the taxpayers. I do understand it is a sacrifice for some people, especially people living on fixed incomes. And we certainly appreciate all the generous support they've offered through the years, and we ask them to do it again.
All school budgets go up for a vote on Tuesday, May 21st. Reporting from the St. Lawrence County Bureau, I'm Jeff Cole. Garrett, back to you.